I have friends that I hang around with all the time, and I don't see her as disabled, I just see her as another friend. We sleep out in the backyard in a tent. We go to the mall, we go to the movies, we go to water country, go to the beach, like any other friend would do.
Adolescence is a dynamic stage of life. It is a time to meet new people, discover shared interests, and dream of the future. It's a time when families may take a backseat to friends, and schoolwork may take a backseat to just hanging out. It's a time when friendships can be the most important thing in the world. For many teenagers with disabilities, friendships don't happen as easily or as frequently as they do for their peers. And while this is a complex problem, one solution may be closer than we had ever imagined. We must listen to the voices of youth. We must hear their words, respect their wisdom, and trust their judgment. For they clearly understand the value, the complexity, and the magic of friendship. This video is about Jocelyn Curtin and her friends. Jocelyn lives in Concord, New Hampshire, and attends Concord Public High School. Jocelyn has a loving family, great friends, and a full life. She also has Rett syndrome.
I'm Jocelyn's mom, and Jen's mom, and Jake's mom. Jen is older, and Jake is younger, and her dad is John, and that's our family. Jocelyn met her friends lots of different ways. A lot of them that she met at school. She met Heather at school, and Heather was the first person that actually ever called and asked Jocelyn to come over one afternoon on a school vacation to watch a movie and spend the afternoon with her. She met Kelly and Melanie through school, and they had lunch together at the same period. And the girls had called one time and said, you know, we have lunch with Jocelyn at school and we really like her, we want to know if we can come over sometimes.
I met Jocelyn at school, at elementary school. I saw her a few times. She was in a couple of my classes because we had mixed grade classes. And I hadn't really talked to her then. A couple years later, I met her when I was with Kelly, and we came over to her house.
Jocelyn does give me friendship. She's there for me. When I need a smile, she gives me one. When I need somebody to talk to, she listens. One time we were at a school dance, and one of our friends was sitting on the floor crying. Jocelyn reached out and put her arm on the girl's back and was rubbing it. Jocelyn sat and cried with the girl, and it just showed that she does understand how people feel, and she is there for you as a friend.
All the guys come up to her at lunch, and they always tell her things. There's one boy, and he's really cute, he's good looking, and he came up to her and he was whispering something in her ear at lunch, and we're all sitting around like, what is he saying to her? And she's sitting there and she's like smiling, and she couldn't stop smiling. It was really neat. We were like, Jocelyn's got a boyfriend. We were like sort of picking on her, and she starts laughing. It was pretty funny.
While Jocelyn's school days are filled with friends and classes, teachers and academics, much of what she does with her friends happens outside of school.
You learn a lot more out in the world than you do in a classroom. I've learned so much, Jocelyn, than I've learned, you know, in my 10 years of school.
I think what motivates us is that we feel Jocelyn should have the right to have fun just like anybody else should. And just because it may take a little bit more effort doesn't mean we shouldn't give it a try, because it's not fair that we get to experience all these new adventures and leave Jocelyn behind.
If I was to give any advice to other parents, it would be maybe to put yourself in that situation. I always put myself in Jocelyn's situation because she doesn't speak and has no way to communicate specifics. So I always kind of jump in her shoes and say, what would I feel like? And that's how I guess I try to encourage her to have friends and do things We'll try anything once. Nothing is out of bounds. They've been out to Hampton Beach, and when I'm not there, they can check out the guys and they can, do the things that you don't do when your mother's there. I would be very conservative and walk along the shore and let her enjoy it that way. They dive right in.
For the first time a few weeks ago, she jumped off the diving board. Marlon takes risks, and if they don't work, then she doesn't try them. But you have to first try them out to see if they work.
She has a full life. She has things to do. She can go places with her friends, and her friends are old enough now that they're starting to get their license, and they feel very comfortable going off with her for a day.
What was the monkey doing? He was driving.
People sometimes don't think that I should be friends with her and ask questions why, but it doesn't bother me really, because I know that they just don't understand, and people are usually afraid of things that they don't know. And so I just kind of brush it off, and usually I just say, well, I'm friends with her because I want to be, and that's just the truth. That's just the way it is, and there's nothing anybody else can change.
When I see Jocelyn, I just see a friend.
She's just a teenager in a wheelchair. She's got a disability.
What? Are you hungry? I am.
For a long time, it was more one-sided. I would always make the calls and initiate the friendships, the interactions, the outings. But I think it was a combination of more kids doing things with Jocelyn, feeling comfortable with her, and also that they were getting older, that they did things more on their own and initiated things like that.
One of the places where Jocelyn and her friends spend time is at Jocelyn's house. It is a home that has seen years of kids being kids and teenagers being teenagers. Jocelyn and her friends, whether they are in the pool, having a sleepover, or watching a movie, are no exception.
She had all kinds of childish things in her room, and we just thought it would be a good idea that we would change it, so it wouldn't be so childish because she is growing up. So we told her mother, and she's like, sure, so we went out and we bought all kinds of stuff, and we did her room.
Jocelyn always has the stylish clothes and up-to-date hairstyles, and she always looks good, and she always looks just like every other kid. Jocelyn's beautiful, and I've always thought she should be a model.
If Jocelyn didn't have people in her life like this, it's a scary thought. I think if she didn't have people in her life that cared about her like they do now, I see what her life would be like. It would be like all the other people that had very caring families, I'm sure, but they get older and the families aren't able to care for them anymore. And I think they just kind of get lost.
Jocelyn is funny and fun to be with, and she's a great person, and that's all that anybody should need to know.